Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. It is Saturday, March 12th at 8 p.m. A few hours ago, Purdue handled their business in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, rolled by Michigan State 75-70. This is the 27th win on the season for your Boilermakers. One more win, and they'll be in pretty rare air. I think I went and looked and checked the last time a Purdue team had 28 wins going into the NCAA tournament was the great class with Haas and PJ and Matthias, that loaded up class, Vincent Edwards. So if Purdue wins one more game, if they win the championship, they'll get to 28 wins. That's pretty noteworthy. That ties a record. That team finished the season with 30 wins after getting knocked out of the tournament. This team is obviously in a position where they can do some damage and get more than 30 wins. But it's noteworthy because that's 20 years. It's an entire era, I'd call, of Purdue basketball. And Purdue is reaching a pretty neat threshold. They're getting to a place where other teams never got there. Like I said, Purdue handled their business. It went 75-70. Kind of a workmanlike win. The lead shrunk in the closing minutes, but Michigan State could never get over the hump. Purdue played a really solid game. Jaden Ivey, he had a good game. He had some acrobatic shots, kind of injured himself a couple times. He keeps leaving his feet. You know this. Leaves his feet, doesn't have any plan on how to land. And he did that tonight, landed straight on his back. If you watch the play, you'll see it. It's been on ESPN a bunch of times already. But if you watch the play, he actually goes behind his back into the teeth of three Michigan State players. So he brings the ball to them, which it would have been better to have it on his left, bring it out to his right, keep himself away from those guys. Instead, he goes right into them, draws the contact, hits the circus layup, no foul, of course, and scores. And he was quite a catalyst tonight. Played great. After him, it was pretty even. Trey Williams had 15 points. He had 7 rebounds to match, 3 assists. But he had 3 turnovers. He played a pretty sloppy brand of basketball in the first half. He was doing some things where kind of the stuff that gets him in trouble from time to time, where much like Ivey, he leaves his feet sometimes, doesn't know where it's going to go. And when he faces up on a guy with like 15, 17 feet, it's probably never the best plan of attack. But he did that a couple times. Sorry, I'm just checking audio thing. So Trey Williams had a couple costly turnovers, but he's really the only guy that had a handful of turnovers. First had 2 turnovers. After that, Ivey didn't have 2. He just had 1 turnover, and then a couple other guys had 1. Ivey finished with 22 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Excellent game. He shot the ball a lot. He was 50% though, 7 for 14 from the field, 3.2 for 5. I think he was the first points on the board for Purdue. He hit the first 3 of the game. But Purdue stopped a little. Purdue started the game a little slowly, but they kind of got themselves in gear and figured some things out. Newman didn't play like I think a lot of us wanted to see that follow up. He had his first 2 or 3 threes were like in and out. He was 0 for 4 from 3, 0 for 6 from the field. They weren't bad looking shots. They were within the offense. They weren't stupid. He played 18 minutes though, so he was important. He was pretty darn good on defense too. So. I hope he keeps his minutes up. He seems to be playing well, and he's really close to knocking those down again, just like he did versus Penn State. Also noteworthy, Gillis had 10 points, 7 rebounds. Edey had 11 points, 10 rebounds. He was getting just the stuffing beaten out of him and wasn't drawing many whistles. Michigan State will use their fouls effectively. They'll use them all up. They'll use as many as they can, and I think they had a big man get fouled out. They had a second big man with 4 fouls, a third big man with 3 fouls. Many of those were right at Edey, just trying to contain him, but Edey still made a big difference on the game. Hunter continues to play great. 11 points, 2 for 3 from 3. The picture on today's post is him going up with his left over 2 players after a pass. I believe it's the behind the back or underneath pass in the lane. To Hunter, where he was just going right down the heart of the Michigan State defense. just a great play. But like I said, Purdue is going to the championship, probably the biggest thing. And it's a chance for this team to get a second banner, or second ring, or second whatever you want to call it. First one, of course, back in November when they beat Villanova in that Cheez-It championship out in Connecticut. And it seems like this team deserves at least one more championship, if not two. And this is nice to see that they're going to be in the position where they can actually do it. They'll play Iowa. Iowa's playing really well. Iowa, Bohannon banked in a three from probably 29 feet to beat IU. IU was playing really, really well. He absolutely ripped their heart out. But it wasn't just that shot, that kind of lucky shot off the glass. By the way, a guy that's that good of a shooter, it's not really luck. He puts the ball in the right vicinity. He heaved it up there, but he made the shot. Again, it's not a coincidence, not luck. This guy can shoot. But he also hit a couple big shots down the stretch, so did Keegan Murray. Purdue's going to have a hard time containing those guys. Iowa will throw the press at Purdue. I'm expecting a better, more free-flowing game offensively, but I do think Iowa's going to throw that press, and Hunter and company are going to have to do big things handling that press. They're going to have to prove to us yet again that they can do it. I think they're going to see that in the NCAA tournament after they get their seeding. Remember, we are less than, right now, I am 22 hours away from the seedings coming out. It's 8 o'clock, like I said. So 6 o'clock, usually they drag their feet as they talk about the seedings. But we're less than 24 hours away from knowing where Purdue will play and when they will play. It feels to me like Purdue is locked in their seed one way or another. I tend to believe that they'll be the highest 3 seed where they stand right now, which would put them through Indianapolis and Chicago. Pretty good place to be. But they could also be the lowest 2. Lenardi has edged them up to the 2 line. He's not the committee. Let's not forget that. But he's been pretty accurate. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. I'm going to check out if there's anybody here watching. I got a couple people. Morgan Underhill says, Newman was a beast on defense. Loved the intensity. Didn't let shots falling drag him down. And that's awesome to see. I agree. I think his effort was excellent. That's one thing that Painter has knocked him a little bit on, is that his when the shots aren't falling, he doesn't tend to play defense as hard, but that wasn't the case today. Theodore Berkey says, do you think they will get a 2 seed in the win tomorrow, or will we be stuck with a 3 since we haven't beaten a Tier 1 team in the tournament? Like I said, I think it's a 3 seed. I think Purdue kind of is a victim a little bit of the upsets in the Big Ten. That's a big deal. Everybody knocking each other out, and Michigan State squirting through, and then Iowa getting through on the other side of the bracket. Didn't do Purdue many favors. But let's not forget, Purdue has been one of the highest ranked teams all season in the Big Ten. And at this point, I mean, go win the damn thing and let the chips fall where they may. But I don't think it's going to help their seeding all that much. Hope I'm wrong. Hope they're a 2. Hell, hope they're a 1. I just don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to be a 3. And 3 coming through Indy would be a pretty nice place. Let's see. I've got Theodore Berkey says, good thing about this tourney is we can potentially hang the banner for this team if we win tomorrow. Would be sad to hang nothing from the rafters for this team. And I agree that Cheez-It banner and the pre-con doesn't get you anywhere and isn't something that you want to brag about. I don't think. I mean, it's nice, it's good, and it set a tone for the season, as we've talked about over and over. But it's really not. That's not something I think most of us are too proud about. We're not going to say, remember that Cheez-It tournament in Connecticut in 10 years. But if they win a Big Ten tournament, I can tell you that when they won the Big Ten tournament last time with Kramer and Grant and the Baby Boilers, it was a big deal to me. And I think anytime Purdue ends a tournament as the champion and they are holding up a trophy and they're cutting down a net or whatever, and I think they will cut down nets for this if they win, that's a big deal. And I think we should appreciate those victories, and then hope that they get the fortunate matchups, not necessarily the greatest seed, but the fortunate matchups that put them in a position to win. Purdue's still got some problems. We all know it. They have a hard time stopping dynamic scoring guards. Saw that today with Michigan State again. What's his name? I'll get it for you. Hogard from Michigan State. He was very effective, and he was kind of having his way with Purdue for minutes at a time. But it wasn't enough. They couldn't get over the hump, and Purdue exacted a bit of revenge on a team that they owed something to, and that was nice to see. So Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to our pals at Gridiron Metalworks, Martin Vintage, and AJ's for helping us make this possible. So those guys are great. All Purdue families. So I know I say it all the time. If you tune in all the time, you've heard it. But it's true. It's legit. So thanks again for tuning in. Check us out on Twitter. I've been pretty punchy the last 2 days. Jay actually posted something. I'm not even going to tell you which post was his, but got a lot of run. But Jay jumped on the Twitter feed, which he doesn't do as much as he used to. And he posted something about, I'm not going to tell you, but it's pretty cool and nice to see. And we're going to have a lot of content. Purdue wins the championship. I would think we're going to get the gears turning, and we're all ready for the postseason. I can tell you that, just like your Boilermakers are. Have a great day. Hammer down. God bless you. And we will see you probably tomorrow evening.